Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen. Wait.
Fuck if the Dems
country and also achieving good results, you need to somehow effectuate the thing that it is you want, right? The thing that we want is
that video is going to go live after this stream ends. Indication they're going to pack the court.
Yes, but that indication has nothing to do with the Democratic action. Josiah's right. Republicans do the analysis of, can we get away with it? That's it. They don't give a fuck if the Dems have done it first or not. They're just saying, can we get away with it? The public.
They have not gotten rid of the filibuster. I don't know. Just objective reality undermines this assertion. It's like, well, we shouldn't worry
Absolute
about
cinema.
whether or not we're going to provoke the Republicans into preemptively getting rid of the filibuster and then doing a bunch of bad, lasting, impactful legislation or expanding the court themselves. We shouldn't worry about provoking them because they're just going to do that anyways if they think about it enough or something. They haven't done it. So far, they have not done that. Darude with $10. Court expanded, contracted in the past. The gross violation of norms law that McConnell engaged in is super egregious. Dems could use the same language prior officials used when expanding the court. When was the last time the court expanded?
When am I wrong? I just want people to understand. When was I wrong? Just so you know, I was the one that reacted to this debate first, okay? When was I wrong? When was I ever wrong? How could it be? How could it be that when I don't even know all that much about politics, that I'm able to give better political commentary than Hutch? How is that possible? How is it possible? How fucked this entire space is?
Well over 100 years ago, right? And the last time it was earnestly attempted was FDR, who couldn't get that over the finish
nice,
line
buddy.
with
Yeah, I am.
absurd
I'm sure.
supermajorities, and in fact swayed public opinion in the opposite direction.
You're in thin ice, buddy.
I feel like something. Hang on a second. I feel like something is getting lost here. And I just realized it. Okay, I feel like something is getting lost in the sauce here. I said at the beginning of the stream, and maybe I need to say it again.
Dude, I'm so glad. I'm so glad I began. Oh my god. I am so glad that I began this entire thing with this beginning. This is literally cinema. Okay? It's literally cinema.
Again now. I actually think the Democrats should expand the court.
Okay.
I don't think it's tenable to accept the current makeup as just this thing that we will be forced to deal with for the next.
Just went to rhetoric school and studied under tutelage of Dr. Thomas Foolery. Who do you think taught him?
40 years? 50 years? Who knows? How old is Amy Coney Barrett? Isn't she like 45 or something like that? I support the Democrats expanding the Supreme Court. It is not an ideal situation. It's not a universally good thing. And similar to...
Does Hutch even have anti-fans? Not really. I think all of Hutch's so-called anti-fans are actually just Destiny anti-fans. But then they still consider Hutch to be... they still consider Hutch to be like a Steven Orbiter source. So it doesn't really matter. The distinction isn't important for them. They still go after Hutch like they would go after any kind of Steven Orbiter.
Getting rid of the filibuster. I have the same conflicting thoughts about getting rid of the filibuster. But I lean towards that being the correct play. My logic when it comes to the filibuster is I don't see it surviving the next 20 years. There's still enough support, like principal support for the filibuster in the Senate, that it seems likely to.
Don't like Hutch because he's boring as fuck. That's fine. Okay. I really like not counter. Fuck me. I really like Loanerbox, but like he's like boring as fuck to me. Okay. Like even though, yeah, I mean whether or not they're boring as fuck, like I feel like I typically never criticize Loanerbox just simply because he's just correct all the time. Right? I'm not just going after people for the sake of going after people. There's a reason why I only make videos glazing Loanerbox. Despite the fact that he's like enemy status. Right? But
stay in place for the rest of Donald Trump's presidency. But institutional support, like
I've
from
only glazed
people within
Loanerbox.
Congress, that seems to be waning. It seems to be that you used to have a lot more senators on the record saying that we should not get rid of the filibuster. And those numbers are dwindling. And so I think it's only a matter of time. My whole thing is, and I hope you guys agree, I want to be the ones to do it. I want the Democratic Party to be the ones to do it. I don't want the Republicans to launch that salvo. I want to be the party in power when that happens, which is the basis of basically most of my logic when it comes to like my reasoning. I also support Democrats right now taking efforts to shift the narrative. Where we disagree is what those efforts look like. It seems like there are some people in chat who think that the effort should look like Democratic Party out and loud and proud going out there either today or after the midterms and saying, we really want to do it. And here's the case that we're going to make to you guys. We really want it. We're like, if you guys give us the kind of Congress that we need to pass it, we are going to do that. We're going to get rid of the filibuster. And then all of a sudden, maybe we can do single payer. I don't even know. We can do stuff well beyond the Supreme Court. Getting rid of the filibuster is a conversation about so much more than just the Supreme Court. I think that the better play is for the Democrats for now, right now, to aggressively run on, even make a central pillar of the platform, court reforms, not including expanding the court. And then we have to see where the political winds are blowing, because no matter how optimistic you guys feel about the power of persuasion, I do not think.
oh my god, you know who Hutch is? Hutch is the oh my god. Hutch is this guy, okay?
Brother, may I have some oats? No.
Hutch is this pig, okay? I am the other pig, okay? I'm the other pig, and Hutch is this pig,
I am
okay?
starving, brother. As am I, brother. The tall, skinny figure has thrown the oats at me. Me, brother. I believe they have taken a liking to me. No, brother. I have seen this before. I have observed many things. From the roaring beast that the tall, skinny figure.
Oats is like validation from the moderates and the Republicans. Whenever you disavow, they give you a little dog treat and they pat you on the head and they go like, "Oh, good liberal. I'm so glad that you're one of the liberals that disavow." And then Hutch goes like, "Yes, I get validation from Master."
Figures crawl in sight after travel far beyond the horizon, to how the figure wept when the other had fallen into a deep sleep. And from my experiences, I have learned that they will give extra oats to one of us before taking them into the shed of no return. They will do terrible things in that shed, brother. Lies! That shed is where the chosen ones go to dine with our tall, skinny gods. You are a fool, brother, and you shall be left behind in the mud with your backwards ideas. No, brother! You must
Also, Elder Scrolls, I enjoyed Skyrim.
believe me. Share with me the oats, and you shall not reach the desired girth for the tall, skinny ones. They will spare your life, brother. Aha! So this was all a plan to steal my oats. You truly are despicable, brother. I will not trust your lies. Brother, when they took me outside the reaches of the pointy fences, into the roaring beast and way over the horizon, I saw it. I was taken to a gathering of these tall, skinny figures. They paraded me around, brother, and I saw the truth. I saw the tall, skinny ones consuming our flesh.
This is me saying the path that we're on is not good, and we shouldn't be reactive. We should also be proactive. You don't understand. Just simply being reactive, like accordingly to the last 10 years, the way that the Democrats have been acting is not the right way to do it. Like, this is just me begging, pleading, okay? Begging, pleading to no avail, that they will feast on our flesh, okay? The Republicans will feast on our flesh. We are the pigs. We are the pigs. We are the pigs, okay? Yeah.
I could not have been mistaken, brother. The smell of the flesh was surely one of us. They suspended the flesh.
If you're a pig, why would you ever appease the humans? Why would you ever appease those who will consume your flesh for sustenance?
Above a fire and let it burn before consuming it. They did not just consume it either, brother. They took pleasure from this. Their mouths curved a wicked smile, and some even let out moans of satisfaction from consuming our flesh, brother. The figures are consumers, brother. They are no different than the furry red demon that consumed and terrorized us and the feathered ones. Your story amuses me, brother, but does not convince me. I shall have these oats myself and dine with the tall, skinny gods.
No!
I am sorry for you, brother. Your eyes cannot take the blinding light of the truth, and you scurry back to your cave. I shall take care of your spawn once they consume you, brother, as they have consumed your lover, our father, our mother, and many more.
God! No. Okay, yeah. I like Brendan Sanderson, okay? That's why I like fantasy.
Think that it is realistic to think that the Democratic Party can shift public opinion that substantially. For an issue like this, which
Oh yeah, that's him, by the way. He's the pig on the right. Okay. I'm not calling him fat.
is very sticky. People are less fickle in their opinion about things that bring about transformational change.
True.
There are a lot of people in this country who you are going to have a really hard time convincing them that expanding
Call
the
him
Supreme
pinkish?
Court
He
is
is kind of
necessary
pinkish.
and justified
No?
and the correct thing to do. There's a lot of people who don't like the Supreme Court that are still hesitant because they know what that means. And just to be clear, if Democrats get rid of the filibuster to
I don't read Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
expand the Supreme
Nor
Court,
did I watch it.
we are like off to the races
Maybe I should.
in a new kind of way. Like the Trump administration, especially the second Trump administration, but Trump kind of broadly has sort of like pushed us off to the races on a number of issues. We know that. I understand that. No sane person with the capacity for logical deduction and observation could deny that Donald Trump has sent us off to the races on a number of issues. I get that. Banning the Supreme Court
We watched the season 4.
is a new kind of thing. That's a whole new kind of thing, okay? Because
I wish I had enough poison for the lot of you. I wish I was the one who killed Joffrey. Sorry.
What does that mean? You know, like, how many sitting members of the Supreme Court are we going to have in 50 years? Once that starts, right? And I don't know if that's
been on trial
it's
for being a dwarf my whole
and yet
life.
Still, I am in favor of it. I can't see like a perfect good option with no downside. I just don't think that option exists. To me, expanding the court is the less bad option. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. Because it seems like a lot of people are like, no, you don't understand. Things are that bad. Like, we have to be extraordinary in terms of how we respond. I agree. I agree. The how is really important in politics. The how you go about something like this, some kind of goal like this, that is really important. And it's especially important when it's an issue that probably 25% or less of the country supports Democrats specifically expanding the Supreme Court. That's a big hurdle. You have to have some kind of a mandate from the public to do something like that. Because the risk of it backfiring in ways that you can't even possibly imagine is substantial.
Yeah, I mean, it already kind of backfired, like, regardless of what the Democrats do, as we've seen today. But
that's one shot that you fucking
what
can't,
can you do?
You can't really miss that shot.
What can you do?
Twinkle Biscuit with $5. Sorry if
They'll
you
fall in
are
line.
or have addressed this. You say you want the change about the Supreme Court to come from influencers instead of Dem leadership. I didn't say specifically influencers, by the way. It would be beyond influencers.
I feel like he did. No?
But I feel like public ire for Dems come from the problematic influencers. I could be misunderstanding. I don't mean just like influencers. I don't think there's anything wrong with like party members going out there and making the case for expanding the court. I will repeat myself for the 100th time.
Your words are not accepted.
It can't be from leadership, and it can't be like our official party platform right now. It is
These words are not accepted.
Too early to say this is the fight that we are going to pick. Way too early for that.
I need to stop being a nerd. Okay, I'm too much of a nerd. I'm sorry. Okay, stop. Stop. It's
$10.
cringe.
Sorry about the misuse of the term PAC. Isn't the result of not holding a hearing, electively stealing a SCOTUS seat. Yeah. It was a problem that was really twofold, or it was an offense, a violation that was two-pronged. The first violation was denying Merrick Garland a hearing.
You know what I think? I think that even if the Democrats were in power, I feel like Hutch would still find an issue with it. Like, he would be the kind of person who would still say, like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be provoking the Republicans, even if the Democrats were in office and they were, like, they had control of the government. Yeah.
The second violation was violating McConnell's own standard that he set when Obama was president, where we're not going to.
Because then he can just go to the excuse, okay, well, we have to think about the midterms. If we push this radical policy too hard, the moderate voter base will not vote for us. Like, okay, ask yourself this, okay? Please double check my sanity here, okay? Would Hutch not argue that? I feel like Hutch would 100% argue that, right? Like, Hutch would say, well, we shouldn't be pushing these radical policies because what if we lose the midterms with it? What if we cause the midterms to lose because of these radical policies? I feel like these are the exact things that he will say. And then when the Republicans are in power, he'll say, okay, he'll still refer to the midterms and he'll still refer to the next election, right? On what not to do. There's never really quite a right moment for Hutch. That's what I feel like. I feel like you can never present a scenario in which things are optimal and Hutch will say yes. That's like kind of the vibe I have. But
a vote on
I could be wrong.
A new Supreme Court justice when we're a year away from an election, and then RGB dies like a month and a half before, and they just it's obviously completely. It was like a farce.
Because I've just never seen
it was a farce.
Hutch take command of anything.
He just played us. Here's an interesting question. Here's an interesting question. If the roles were reversed, and instead of
You
Obama,
would say that? You would.
in 2015, when Antonin Scalia died, was it 2015 or the beginning of 2016? It was one of the two. If it was reversed, if it was Democrats in control of the Senate and a Republican president, would you have wanted the Democrats to do what McConnell did? I don't know. I think my answer to that is yes. So in a way, it's like, I'm beyond the.
Is this from the 9-hour VOD? It's from the 9-hour VOD. This is the 9-hour VOD. Yep, this is the 9-hour VOD.
Place where I'm like, how dare McConnell? I mean, obviously I don't like what he did, right? But the shoe was on the other foot. I don't know. I think I would have wanted old Chucky boy to fucking keep that seat vacant. You know? Okay.
Well, it seems like maybe this way.
It's all skinny gods.
What I'm saying is I'm not convinced that, basically everybody but Chuck Schumer and King Jeffries could talk about.
Also, Republicans don't need to pack the court. They already own the Supreme Court too. It's like, what would putting 6 more justices on even do for them? They already have a.
Come on, guys.
Huh?
Come on. What are we doing?
What do you mean? Come on. Hello?
I'm telling you guys, I heard the same. Almost literally, I heard the same logic
Jesus,
from
Hutch.
far lefties who I was arguing with in 2020 and 2024.
Yeah, but Destiny isn't a far lefty. The problem again is that he's conflating Destiny with the far left.
When I would talk about like the importance of the courts, the importance of shaping the courts. Like, okay, you don't like Kamala as a candidate? Fine. Think about the courts. Think about the amount of judges that we will be able to confirm if we give Democrats power. How many judges we can block Donald Trump from doing if they get power. And I'm telling you guys, I heard it so many times from far lefties.
You have to be as condescending as possible, okay?
Couldn't get any worse. Really? You don't think 7-2 would be worse, or 8-1, or 9-0, or 3 more Republicans? Do you really think that wouldn't be worse? Like, what? That's the black pill that I'm trying to. That's the maximally bad position.
Also, another very dishonest opinion is that he thinks that Destiny is black-pilled. Destiny is black-pilled. He's black-pilled because the average American voter base is fundamentally retarded. Is because they are a bunch of retards. And they do not know what's going on. Their media diet fucking sucks. They are brainwashed by the Republican Party. However,
a magnanimous dispensation.
Oh shit. Zor coming in again with 10 gifted subs. Holy shit, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. What the fuck? Thank you. Yo. Hey. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very kind of you. That's a lot. Okay. Right. So what I was saying is, what is more hope-pilled? Like what's more hope-pilled? Like, what is less black pill, I guess? So Destiny's position is to take initiative and push something as the Democratic Party forward, so then we are actually able to have something to do if we ever win the midterms. His message is, we should try to influence people's opinions, and we should change the way people think about things. If Destiny was truly black-pilled, he would say, no, we cannot change the minds of the American voters. We are unable to change their minds, and we shouldn't even try in the first place. But Destiny's position is that we are able to effectuate rhetorical change in the media, at the very least, and from the politicians of the Democratic Party to take a more offensive position in order to inspire change by the Democrats. This is not a black pill position. This is a hope-pilled position. It's not a black pill position. So Hutch framing this as a black pill position is dishonest. Because the nature of what Stephen wants there to have been done is fundamentally not black pill, right? Being able to change minds, being able to influence what Democrats can do, being able to take the initiative and the aggressive stance, that's not black pill. That's hope pilled. That's anti-black pill. I think that Hutch is coping. I think that Hutch...
A magnanimous dispensation.
Meow. What? Yo, that's like $100 being donated in like the last fucking... Sorry, $70. $70 donated in like the last... Who knows... Jesus. Holy cow, you guys didn't need to do this. Thank you. You guys are being really, really kind right now. Thank you. Seriously. I dodge every single one. Have you turned it on in the settings? Because you need to be able to turn it on in the settings, okay? But thank you so much. Miyazaki, actual Prince Charming. I really like Misaki, okay? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, is that I think that Hutch is actually coping because he has the real black pill position. The real black pill position is that you should only act accordingly to the Republicans' whim. The only reason why you should ever act is because the Republicans have slipped up and they presented an opportunity to take an offensive action. That is not just cope. That's not just cope pilled, right? And I want to clarify, Hutch isn't just coping. I think that he has the actual black pill. I think that his position is the real black pill. Because he believes fundamentally in a Democratic Party right now that is unable to take action in of itself, unable to be aggressive in anything that they do, unable to be able to effectuate change and change voters' minds. Is that not the black pill? That is the black pill. That's the black pill. Hutch is the black pillar.
Like the logic is like, well, court's already fucked. So what's the actual risk? It's like, okay, I guess if you really believe that adding 6 more Supreme Court conservative justices wouldn't produce worse outcomes, then I guess we're at an impasse because I don't believe that. Per Thomas with $5, what is the difference between 2020 and 2024?
Settings? I don't know.
In what context? I don't
Somewhere
really
in the YouTube
6th Street
settings.
Court. Trump is immune from crimes. Trump enjoys more criminal immunity than the King of England did. What would they even need to pack the court for? Of course they're not going to be talking about this.
And the GOP would be okay with that. Like, I don't know. I don't think that they would need. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that they would need Chuck Schumer.
Connor seething right now. Connor is seething every day about me, okay? When he fucks his wife, when he tucks his kids in to bed, when he goes to the bank, when he does everything, I guarantee you, Connor is thinking of me 24/7, all right? Because he just can't imagine his good old friend Steven being defended by me, okay? So,
And Hakeem Jeffries.
it doesn't matter what I say per stream. I could literally not think about Connor and he would still think about me, okay? So, and luckily, I do not think about Connor at all, okay? In my free time, all right? Because why? Because he's boring and a bad op and he doesn't stand a chance against me, but okay.
For the 2 federal Democratic leaders to weigh in on this before they decide to change a norm, change a rule.
Just Peak says, you're conflating Hutch. What you should be asking is it worse than 7-3 if it was 10-3? When the answer is not really. You don't think
taking care of Connor, trying to repel his attacks on me is like beating a toddler. All right? You're locking me in a cage with 3 children. 3 days later, only I come out and I am satiated for my hunger. Okay.
that a 7-3, a 10-3 conservative majority Supreme Court would be worse than a 7-3? I mean, like, they're both bad, obviously. Are you really saying that a 10-3 wouldn't be worse? All right, fine. Like, hold on. Where does that logic end, by the way? Would 103, would that be worse than 7-3? 1,000? Either number gets us the same decisions? That is not true. I think this court has had more 5-4 decisions than previous courts, by the way. You guys understand that there have been decisions that have come down 5-4, like getting rid of the ACA. Was that not 5-4? Hold on, let me look up all the decisions.
That's your mind, okay? Going to the wrong places.
It's the notable 5-4 decisions that have come from the Supreme Court. In the Roberts bench, is that what we, in the Roberts court, is that what we call this? Since what? Since ACB was confirmed? I'm just going to read some of these decisions, right? Hold on. Natural phenomenon with $5 is one thing to discuss court packing. It's another to run on it, and running on it with.
Yeah, exactly. No one is actually, like, no one is making a prescription to run on it, right? I hope that Hutch realizes that. No one is actually making a prescription to run on court packing. Like, this shouldn't be your number one issue, and neither is anyone arguing for that. Which is, again, another bad faith representation by Hutch. Yes, I do think it's actually bad faith. I think it is bad faith because I consider Hutch to be a smart person. And because I don't treat Hutch like a dumbass, I'm holding him to the same standards as a not retarded person, meaning that he is bad faith. Right?
Out people support is political suicide. The GOP haven't done it. Why? Thank you for being a voice of sanity in my mind. I love you. I just want to cherish you. Let's make natural phenomenon a super mod, okay? I just want you to give you complete control over my channel. That's how much I want to reward you right now.
Dude, are you okay? Jesus.
You can just have all the money. You can just take it. I'm just going to send you all the money that I make.
Okay, Jesus. I didn't know it was that easy to make money.
It was June 2023. Moore versus United States. June 20th, 2024. The case held that the federal government's tax on unrealized.
Oh no, uh-oh. Drama update. Hutch has responded. Hey, Hutchinson, you said that it was objective reality that the blah, 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 that the Republicans have gotten rid of the filibuster. It looks like Trump is now pushing for it, regardless of whether the Democrats are trying to push it. You're wrong, and it's time to concede. It's a bit of an incoherent question here. This is like the 5th time Trump has called for Senate Republicans to get rid of the filibuster. If you already have that knowledge, which I didn't have prior, how does that prove you right? If anything, it shows that you are coping about the fact that the Republicans have already tried advocating for removing the filibuster regardless of the Democrats. Yeah, this doesn't disprove my point. This doesn't. Because it shows, yeah, because this shows that, like, if it's true that this is like the 5th time that Trump has pushed this helps my point. Because that means they tried to push for it regardless. That means they pushed for it regardless. And we should have the right to retaliate. What? So shouldn't we be taking Oh my god. Shouldn't we be taking the Republican position here and say that we should abolish the filibuster? Because the Republicans are trying to do it? What? Bro, dude, oh my god. I can't tell if he's trolling me. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine.
Gains did not exceed Congress's constitutional authority. The decision was 5-4, with the majority being Kavanaugh, Roberts, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson. Ames versus Ohio Department of Youth Serves?
I don't think he understands you're referencing his Destiny coverage. It doesn't matter.
5-4 that plaintiffs who are members of a historically majority group, here straight women, do not have to meet a higher standard, higher background circumstances standard to establish discrimination. The majority aligned with the liberal justices. Blah, 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 blah. These are three prominent examples. I'd have to ask Pisco, by the way. Anyways, there's been more than one 5-4 decision that went towards liberals. There's been a lot of horrible decisions, just to be clear. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying to be like, you see, the Supreme Court isn't that bad, guys. That's not my point. I find this whole, like, you know, if it was like 2 more conservative justices, would that really be worse? It's like, yeah, like, what? Yes, obviously. Hassan went apeshit at a black chatter for asking him about Sudan and then crashed out. Uh-oh. We got another crash
When
out?
it comes to black folks, you really don't want to talk about us unless it comes from voting. When is the last time you spoke about Sudan? I'm gonna fucking ether you. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this
Oh my god. Oh dear.
fucking chat? Suck my fucking cock, okay? You stupid fucking radlib. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat. Fucking stupid, moronic, fucking.
Oh my god, it's Night Kitten again. Where are you, Night Kitten? Where are you, Black Cat? Dude. Bro, how could you say that you are not terminally online when you are in fact terminally online? I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, I'm just teasing you, okay?
Radlib nonsense. Suck my fucking dick. Fuck you.
Jesus.
You think you have a pass in here to fucking speak like this? Get the fuck out of here.
Shitlib. Shitlib alert. Shitlib. Shitlib.
Dumb fuck. You think I'm gonna fucking baby you?
Bro, this clip is from yesterday? How is this clip not going nuts today? How did Ock not find this clip?
Go ahead. Go.
This is actually nuts. Any other black radlibs? This is crazy, dude.
Post a fucking clip about how much of a fucking.
Wait, it's an old clip? Hold on. How old is it? This is from. There's got to be a date on the screen, right? No? Yes? Last night, New York City. Zoran Mondani declared. Oh, this was yeah, this is old. What the fuck? This one slid under the radar. This is shortly after he won the primary. It looks. Is it? Are we sure?
Fucking white supremacist I am.
I like how Ock just literally just became like an anti-Hassan Piker account. It's just so funny. Like Ock is kind of like LSF if LSF turned into like a Twitter account ran by a single person. But it's just kind of funny how Hassan can't even get on Ock's side.
Suck my dick. Annoying. Dumb fuck.
Ock's curator is a DJ too.
God damn, dude. This kind of attitude is so insanely repulsive.
I think there was a conspiracy at some point as well that there was a conspiracy that Ock is actually Dan, but you know he's not actually Dan. But
like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? We're talking about fucking creating a larger, broad, people-backed movement and fucking creating solidarity.
I wish you reacted more to Ox clips. Not all of it is Hassan. No, I react to Ox clips all the time, actually. Yeah. I don't think I have that much of an issue not reacting to Ox clips. Yeah, I do it all the time, just not today. Like during the Miskiff drama, like, yeah, I'm reacting to it all the time.
And you immediately got root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people. Shut the fuck up.
You know, it's clips like these that that confuse me about why the far left struggles with black voters. You know, I watch a clip like this, I'm like, what's up with that? Why do progressives, struggle so much with black voters? Fucking huge mystery there. Can't figure it out, it's probably the establishment, right? It's the establishment in APAC. That's why, right? Viking Piggy with the tier 1 membership. Thanks so much, buddy.
I think Hutch has condensed his energy into the wrong places. I think I agree with all of Hutch's takes against the lefties. When it comes to Hassan Piker and his cohort, I am totally on board with him. But, and there's a big but, the time that he spends on bashing the lefties during such a critical time when he purports to advocate for political utilitarianism and trying to maximize the amount of good that he is doing, I'm afraid that I just cannot be on board with how he conducts himself. Because almost 100% of his content is pretty much just anti-lefty slop. There's already a lot of people who's doing that. Hutch is not new for that. Do you know who are the people who's doing that? Asmongold and his orbit. So Asmongold and his orbit are already covering Hassan and his crew in a way where they're mocking him and saying how horrible they are. But the problem that then you get is that you are spreading the rhetoric of anti-liberalism indirectly, just simply because the way that Asmongold does it is that when they attack Hassan, they are painting Hassan as the rest of the Democratic Party. But, and there's a big but as well, okay, massive ass, Hutch is not dedicating enough time to bashing Trump when he should be dedicating 80%, at the very least, at least 80% of his videos towards bashing Trump and bashing the Trump administration. It should be 20% bashing lefties and 80% bashing Trump. If you say that your political goal is to be politically effective. But I do not see political effectiveness. I see vindictiveness and spitefulness and hyper-focus. That's what I see, right? But yeah. That's the problem, though, ergo. Hutch does not fire on both sides. Hutch doesn't do that. He does that, but none of his videos are about that. All of his videos are about Hassan and slop drama that is associated with Hassan, which all the right-wing commentators and every Asmongold orbiter is already doing. Okay? You only need to create enough anti-lefty videos to differentiate yourself away from Hassan. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. You need to just create just enough anti-lefty content to differentiate yourself away from Hassan. But the rest of it should definitely be anti-Asmongold, anti-Trumper, anti all that stuff. But if you completely lopside that proportion of video making into all of it being anti-lefty, well, you just look like somebody else entirely, right? But yeah. There aren't a bunch of lib streamers out there bashing the left. Not sure where you're getting that idea from. No, the problem is that when it comes to other lib streamers, the reason them not bashing the lefties is not good, just simply because they're not self-policing, right? They're not excluding the crazy communists and the crazy leftists out of their audience. I agree with that. So what they should do instead is that they should create the occasional video that tells the lefties to go the fuck away. But the vast majority of their videos should still be anti-Trump, obviously. Right? Does that make sense? I can't tell if I'm not like... I'm trying to communicate a very specific idea here. I'm like trying to communicate a very specific thing here. But I'm not sure whether or not I'm like coming across as understandable, I guess. I think I'm being very clear here, okay? You need to communicate enough to get the fucking crazy lefties out, but you need to still be politically effective as to repel MAGA. Does that make sense? Okay, whatever.
Jesus, this clip is nuts.
I think I've been really clear.
Black
Or whatever.
rad libs. He knew he fucked up right there too.
God damn.
99% fuck Trump, 1% the riots have to stop. Yes, exactly. Well, probably not 1%. Like 5 to 20% is okay in my book. Like if you put in 5 to 20%, and then you have 80%. Also, Highland. Hi, hello. Glad to see you drop in. Okay. But if you take away like 80, but if you spend the other 80% on MAGA, right? You essentially do both optimally. Yeah, if that makes sense. It seems like you've really acclimated to your Vyvanse dose. What is that supposed to mean? Have you been feeling? I've been feeling fine. I'm still depressed sometimes, but I've been feeling fine.
That attitude left a long fucking time ago. It doesn't work, okay? Keep advocating for your own fucking demise then.
Jesus. Ethan Klein calls out Hassan over a clip of him malding over black chatter. Is this another?
I've noticed a distinct lack of spurk noise. Well, because I'm trying to focus. That's why. Like if I'm going over something that I am especially energized to go over, then yeah, I'm gonna be pretty overstimulated. But right now I'm just like doing casual political commentary that I've always been covering. I've already covered like more than 4 hours of it. So yeah. You're being clear foods, but you're making Hutch sound terrible comparing him to Asmongold. I'm only comparing him to Asmongold in the same sense that when you look at his channel page and you look at all of his videos, it just looks like any anti-SJW channel page. Like, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. Like, just check his channel page. Here, I promise I'm not trying to gaslight you either. Look at this. Right, I get it. Yeah, I know. No, I'm just showing for the audience, okay? Look at this. Anna Kasparian. Okay, like, okay, just look at this page. Look at this page. What? Is this a drama page? Is this a drama slot page for Hassan's Orbit? This looks like like if you didn't know anything about Hutch, if you didn't know anything about Hutch and you came in, what does this look like to you? Right? But yeah, I'm just saying, okay? Okay. All right.
Other one?
Like it or not.
I mean, I'll probably stop covering this specific video because I think I bashed Hutch enough. But yeah, we'll get back to bashing Asmongold, okay?
Black people care about the border. Man, shut the fuck up. Black people care about the border. I don't give a fuck what black
I care about the proportion of videos I create, at the very least.
people
okay?
care about. The Democratic what? Party literally is going to fucking lose, even if they don't lose, move the country to a significantly more right-wing position. Oh, black people care about this, black people care about that. Like, shut the fuck up. That's not how politics works.
Yeah, well, you know. Kind of is. Like, I don't know. Like, black voters are pretty fucking important to the coalition, the Democratic Party. You know, one might say they're crucial, but okay.
I hate that. I hate this, like, shield.
How many videos on the main channel about Asmongold? 81. How many channels on the video about Hassan? 104. It's not the best ratio. It's not the bbest ratio, but keep in mind I'm a drama slopper. Okay, fundamentally I'm a drama slopper. Okay, 104 videos on Hassan, 81 videos on Asmongold. All right. I pretty much bash people equally, and I'm not even saying that I'm trying to be politically effective. Like that's not even my goal. So,
Okay?
yeah.
I hate this fucking idiotic shield, okay? Oh, well, Hassan, how dare you? Like it or not, black
What's the J-Stoke ratio? You don't want to know. Okay, let me take a look.
people care about this issue. It's like, it's such a fucking stupid stance, okay?
Isn't this just like the perfect kind of representation of
Wow. Um. Okay. Let's not talk about that.
like why that kind of politics is just doomed to fail? It's such a logical thing to come to, like conclusion to come to, a thing to come to. That sounds bad. Jesus. It's such a logical conclusion to come to if you're struggling with a
That's
particular
your fault. I
demographic,
wasn't even thinking
you
of
go
sex
out
until
and
you brought it
speak
up.
to those voters, and you ask them about their concerns, and you ask them questions like, "What can we do to represent you more?" You know, that's typically what you want to do. You're building any coalition, you know, like you go to union leaders and you say that. You go to older voters, you say that. You go to like underserved neighborhoods and you say that. You're like, that's how you build winning coalitions in like big races. Politics is about finding things to come to. I mean, when, you know, in a way. And instead of that, he just scoffs at the idea. Fuck out of here. Tell me I gotta go talk to black voters? that's essentially what he said.
Latest video. Oh, the latest video is doing spectacularly. Okay. Latest video is one of the best performances I have seen in a while. The thumbnail is made by B, one of my editors, one of my other editors, TC Bob. I'm trying to train him to be the Slop Channel editor, and it's made by my main channel editor, Magabes. Okay, really good. This is crazy. Like, this is actually pretty damn good stats. This is extremely high engagement. 183 likes. Holy cow. 63 comments. By the way, this was posted not too long ago, like today. Just by the way, today.
You want me to go out there and talk to black voters? Well, yeah. I think Bernie should have done that. I think that probably would have been a good idea that Bernie did that. Yeah. Okay.
Change law, change procedure to do something with ballots. I think they look at it as a case-by-case basis. And so I guess what I'm saying to you is if they do it your way, you're allowing Democrats to say, okay, the rank and file can talk about it more. And as long as leadership doesn't weigh in, that's the way to play it. But what if Republicans?
I think people want it just I think it's just simply because people already saw the original transcript video. So they probably don't want to watch it a second time. But instead people just want to see the anti-fans coping. Which people like to enjoy because they think of J-Stoke as a horrible person, and rightfully so. So
go, well, fuck, we see the writing on the wall. More and more Democrats are talking about it. Sure, it's not Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer. We might as well preemptively pack the court and advance further still. I guess what I'm saying is, doesn't your way also carry a lot of risk?
Well, I mean, everything's risky right now. But like, why don't we let me try to get at this a different way. Like,
here's a good question. This would be a good question. What have the Democrats led on? Like, what's one example of a thing where the Dems came out first and they did it?
Healthcare.
And it was like, ooh, that was scary. Like, we're always playing the game where we're following what the Republicans are doing. We're in the way.
Healthcare reform, the most significant.
Yeah, but that was in the previous world, right? Like that was in the previous world. This is not in the new world. This isn't in a post-Trump world. When you're talking about healthcare, that's like how many years ago? Isn't Obamacare like more than 10 years ago at this point? Like when you point towards an example, you can't point towards an example in the pre-Trump era. Right? Because you're showing how well it worked in an era where politics was fundamentally operated differently, as opposed to the social media influencer era, where you failed to give a single example, right? But yeah.
Federal
Oh, hey, Hutch responded again.
legislation of the 21st century. We led on that. We paid a political price.
Wait, hold on. Is Hutch just on Twitter at like 3 a.m.? Does anybody know where Hutch lives? Does he live on the East Coast? He's just doom scrolling Twitter at 3.
For that, by the way. We led on that. We led on healthcare reform. And that was a multi-year, drawn-out fight. The fight didn't end when we passed the ACA. It continued for several years. I mean, it was a salient issue in 2016 and 2017. And we came out on top on that one. That is the most significant piece of legislation that was passed in the 21st century.
Wake of their disaster constantly. And it's like Biden cucked himself, and Josiah knows this because he was on this argument harder than me. Biden cucked himself out so hard to Merrick Garland. Where did that get us? People still hate the Supreme Court. They still think we did lawfare against Trump. Trump is still politically.
He cucked himself to Merrick Garland. I don't even know what that means. Like, truly. Captain Dan, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership. Is he saying that he should have fired Merrick Garland? And, I don't know. If that's
prosecuting all of his opponents more than any president in probably all of fucking U.S. history. Like, what did that get us? So we even intentionally cuck ourselves out. The Republicans don't look at the Dems and go, well, since they did that, we'll chill, because they know that
they are. Just to be clear, they are doing that currently with the filibuster, specifically with the filibuster, which is what we're talking about. That is their position right now. The Republican Party is not pulling the trigger on getting rid of the filibuster, and that stands as near. It is a near certainty, virtual certainty, that they will pull the trigger if we start running on that.
They can always take the first step. That's where the tit for tat comes in. That we need to take a first step, because they have to have. And by the way, Republicans know this. Roll the Megyn Kelly clip. Republicans know this. What I'm saying.
I also don't even. It's not that. Is he saying that Biden didn't use his power proactively when he was president? That feels like a bit of revisionist history. Whatever criticisms you have of Biden, one thing you cannot criticize him on is acting on his legislative agenda, like just passing, getting his legislation passed, and then using executive authority many times. He just did shit, like especially in the beginning. Like he did major immigration stuff in the beginning with like executive authority. Through the federal agencies, implemented change, expanded Title IX protections to like trans kids. You know what I mean? Like he didn't do stuff. Like he didn't just do stuff. Parky with 3 months. Thank you so much. Captain Dan and Captain Dan with the tier 1 membership. Thank you.
Saying is not even controversial, although Republicans will gaslight you and say that it is when they're talking about me. But then when they're talking amongst their own, this is exactly what they tell themselves. This is exactly how they know the game works.
Megyn Kelly should
have
the most free president necessarily.
So he's giving the cuck centrist take. I don't know this. Remember, my take was disgusting and horrible for a YouTuber to have, saying that they should lead.
Wait, what's Josiah's Twitter account? Sorry, I'm fighting with Hutch.
Because if they don't lead,
I found it.
They're gonna, they'll just make us capitulate and we'll get nothing.
Certainly Megyn
But
Kelly.
this is a fact that the Dems fight. Like, you can't argue this fact.
You can say they
Who was indicted by a Republican president that was running for president on the other side?
it wouldn't be necessarily the specific, a perfectly matching indictment. But the they started first could be lawfare, could be crazy. You talk about crazy people. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the most sane member of Congress. It's not hard to point and look at Republicans and see some crazy out there. And so they get as hepped up, right? They're ready to then go to war next time they win. So every presidential election is this momentous, this side's going to go to war against this side. I don't see how that's ever going to lead to any kind of de-escalation in a way that's favorable to those of us who don't have a we necessarily.
So he's giving the cuck centrist take. I don't know what this podcast is if they're concerned about the fifth column, but he's giving like the cuck centrist take, right? They're like, oh yeah, this is what they would be saying to me, right? And my answer is no. Fuck this bullshit. If the other side doesn't think we're going to respond, then they're going to be unhinged. So we need to do some shit to let them know that we got it in us.
When you have power, first of all, I don't really know what he's referring to. I would just evaluate things case by case. Like I'm sure he would propose a lot of actions that the next administration should do that I would agree with, and probably a lot that I would disagree with. But like the difference is that you would wait until you're in power, right? That guy looks like a chubby Bob Saget rip. Nice.
That we got that dog in us. But when I say that, these guys and then the Piers Morgans and all the liberals even like scream at me like, oh, you can't say that. Okay, but
he's talking about disavowing violence here. I don't want to restart that.
How does how did the Republicans respond to that claim, right?
This side.
Isn't everybody just going to get unhinged if we do this?
To go to war against this side, I don't see how that's ever going to lead to any kind of de-escalation in a way that's favorable to those of us who don't have a we necessarily.
Because they have to feel that there's risk involved to them if they do it again. If they don't feel the risk, they're going to keep doing it. They've proven that. It's the only way, to keep the kid from touching the stove again is for them to touch the hot stove. But they have to feel the pain in order for it to really bring the lesson home. Otherwise, the kid might touch the cold stove a second time. Not that I've favored this in my own family. I'm not saying this is a parenting method. But I'm just saying for these guys, unless they actually fear that this could happen to them or their family, they will do it again. They think the ends justify the means. They did something truly extraordinary and dangerous when they did this to Trump and his people.
Dude, I get so many fucking scam callers, you guys. Do you guys get scam callers from people pretending like they're a collection, trying to collect on like an old debt? I have nothing in collection.
Wait, for Merrick Garland, I believe that is like for a Supreme Court pick, but they required the 60 majority to enact Merrick Garland, or was it the 50 majority? It was the 51 majority, right? But the Senate Republicans didn't show up because they kept on not showing up, and it was a rule that Mitch McConnell made on the spot, right? Merrick Garland.
I get fucking so many calls from these people, and it always scares me every time. And it's like well, shit, like they use this language like we're gonna refer you to the court, blah blah blah, like shit like that. They're not even allowed to do that. There's law. They can't. They're legally prohibited from doing that. Can't do that. and like if it's a serious attempt to collect a debt, you're gonna get letters or whatever. Yeah, like. But every time I get it, I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Which was prosecuted for crimes that he committed, by the way, right? So that's my take verbatim. But she's not even factually correct on.
Natural phenomenon with $5. They're falling for the trap of looking strong.
Sonic Spike 41 asked me, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are exactly the same on the issue of Israel and Palestine. Please explain why this is true from the position of an American Marxist communist. U.S. imperialism and the Zionist entity. Harris and Trump as twin pillars of bourgeois reaction. From the vantage of an American Marxist-Leninist, the claim that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are exactly the same on Israel-Palestine isn't hyperbole. It's a stark revelation of how the imperialist state apparatus transcends democratic Republican facades. Both serve the interests of the U.S. monopoly capitalist class.
Bro, this shit is too long. Stop. Cringe.
I'm not even kidding. I don't even know what to do about Tangia anymore. Yeah, they've called my parents. I don't know how they fucking got my parents' phone number. They called my parents' phone number. I get a call from my dad. He's like, you got to take care of this. I'm like, what? I got to take care of what? You got to take care of this. What am I taking care of? Why doesn't it say Tangia paused, by the way? Tangia is paused. We're pausing it. He's like, some guy called and said, you got to fucking call it. I'm like, Dad, it's a scam. He's like, well, tell him to stop calling me. I'm like, Dad, just hang up the phone. I don't know what you want me to do. You want to call scammers and tell them to stop calling you? Like, I don't know. You got to take care of this. I'm like, Dad, just fucking hang up the phone. Sorry.
On anything because she's a soulless ghoul fucking hack fuck who doesn't even have the excuse for it, right? Because her own.
Sorry, natural phenomenon with $5. They're falling for the trap of.
Okay, I can't tell if I'm schizo posting. Fuck me. Okay, hold on. I need you guys to double check me. Okay, just so that I'm not like. Just so that I'm not like saying anything crazy. So Hutch says, okay, you guys are here to double check, okay? So Hutch says, this came up in the Live and Learn debate. I talked about why Republicans aren't likely to get rid of the filibuster altogether unless Dems start running on on doing it. Because Senate Republicans have already ignored Trump's calls to end it several times. He called for them to end the filibuster during the last shutdown on his watch. if they do actually get rid of it to pass the budget, obviously there are no more rules. So Dems can run on all sorts of things. Try splashing water on your face for a reset. But then I said, why do you think they don't want to do that, right? Like, why don't the Senate Republicans actually want to get rid of the filibuster right now, right? And, we get into the area of speculation. So why do you think they don't want to do that? Obviously, it's because exceptions kept on being made, and they want to save it for the next time Democrats get into power, right? So you have to think about why the Senate Republicans might not want to get rid of the filibuster, right? But the pondering, which is pondering politics, Josiah, okay, was right. If exceptions are constantly being made, exceptions for the filibuster, by the way, and weaponized back and forth, why still keep it around? Might as well remove a layer of complexity and rip off the Band-Aid. I don't want the filibuster to go away right now. Obviously, because it benefits us, right? So I'm giving him a little bit of ground. However, I certainly don't want it around in case we win the midterms and they are ready to enact a filibuster against us. So I'm giving a reason forward of why we might want to get rid of the filibuster, right? Because in the case that we win the midterms and the filibuster is what stops us, that's going to be kind of cucked, right? We need to lead the fight. There's a world where you don't want to push for action even when the Democratic Party is in power, like court packing, just because you're overly cautious about the next election cycle constantly. So I say that even when the Democrats are in power, it feels as though you're not willing to advocate for these things just simply because you're constantly worried about the next election cycle, right? And I said the last 10 years, which, was just Trump madness, right, was conducted accordingly to what you advocated for, a very cautious, retaliatory approach. And we ended up with Trump again, even after the ridiculous things they did. So is this a schizo post? Am I out of touch? Like, is this a schizo post? Am I schizo posting? Am I out of touch? I mean, okay, if it's right, then I'll post it. But like, I'm being cautious here, okay? Watch a few more minutes of the video and read. No, well, I'm double checking with you guys, right? Let me see. Okay, we'll see. I was just saving drafts.
Looking strong. Instead of allowing the GOP to do the unpopular thing first, we look better when we are reciprocated. See, I don't know if I agree with that.
It doesn't sound like you know the filibuster that well. Yeah, I don't think I do. Hold on. Let me double check. There was no retaliation for it. Yeah, there was no retaliation for January 6th. No. Hold on. Which is why I want to be careful before I respond.
Because, like, again, I think that doing stuff like getting rid of the filibuster and like doing big stuff, like, I think that probably is necessary at this point. And so I don't want the Republicans to do it first. I want to be the ones that do it.
She is an attorney. She knows she's fucking lying. She knows it's part of the game she's playing. She knows that she is a disgusting. Just like you know exactly what
running on court
they're doing.
What do you think would help Democrats take back power more? Running on court reforms or running on the economy? Like making people's paychecks go further, help, providing relief for families that are struggling to make ends meet, expanding like social welfare benefits. Like, what do you think would be more motivating for voters?
Let me see.
Probably kitchen table issues.
Okay, there you go. I mean, I just feel like I just feel like I've never seen any real indication that, apart from like 2022 after Roe, but that didn't even last 2 years, right? Like, I just think voters have not demonstrated that the like court reforms is something that really motivates them.
Have I even watched that debate on the filibuster in the first place? Like on Live and Learn? I wonder if I even watched that debate in the first place.
I spoke here. I shouldn't have said court reforms. I should have said. Well, I mean, actually, no, hang on.
Several times.
In terms of like what motivates voters, court reforms, I don't think. Like, what are the polls for what was on voters' minds? Hold on, let me look at that. I also just want to game out your kind of...
That didn't last 2 years. Well, I think it didn't last... It feels like it didn't last that long. First of all, I think abortion was still a pretty motivating thing because women are always getting pregnant and care about their ability to have an abortion. Believe it or not, that's a thing that's always impacting women. And it impacts especially the conservative men that knock them up and then drive them to outer states to get abortions. But
what I meant to say was that it wasn't enough to sway the election in Democrats' favor. Not that it didn't matter to women,
The problem is that it doesn't feel like we can do anything about it. Like, that's the issue, right? Okay, well... The abortion thing sucks. Should I vote Democrat? I mean, like, it would help a little bit. Like, we know the rights won't get rolled back even more, but like, what? Like, fuck, what are you gonna do?
Well, you would have to have like legislation.
I think the main problem. I think the main problem is that Hutch is essentially relying on the filibuster specifically as a point to show that the Republicans have not retaliated. Is that right?
In the codified row, but I don't know if that would survive judicial review with this Supreme Court.
Like, because it seems like even if we...
Number 4 most salient issue in 2024 per Gallup.
I think that's right. I think that's more correct.
Number 4. Types of Supreme Court justices candidates would pick. Wait, hang on a second. That's not the same thing as court reforms. That's just who gets to choose who is nominated to the court. I don't even see Supreme Court reforms on this list. I'm not seeing it. Court reform? No. Not even on the list. Not even. So maybe it is super salient, and the pollsters just made a mistake by not presenting that as an issue that they could vote on.
You know, when again, like, I don't even know if you can make a law allowing abortion everywhere, or if the Supreme Court would strike that down. I don't know what that would look like, you know?
I don't think. Let's just play it out then, right? Like, sure. Tell me what you're in charge of the Democratic Party right now. Like, day one, like, hit the ground running. What does your strategy look like in practice?
Are you talking about now or when we're back into power?
Right now, like, you know, right now, right? You're saying that they should make court packing, you know, I assume like a central pillar of the party platform. But what does that look like?
So I would probably, I mean, this is me spitballing here, but I would probably say, I would use this issue about the Voting Rights Act to be like, you know, something to the effect of, all right, folks.
I'm going to skip this part. It's a bit long-winded, and he just kind of gives a pitch to like why the issue matters. But I was looking for more.
That the court needs to be changed.
I was looking for more specifics about like broad strokes instead of just not just like what the specific messaging would look like, but what does the actual broad strategy look like?
And which you all clearly support. Get through hours and undisclosed, you know, or taxes. The Supreme Court very tangible losses that they've suffered under Trump.
And you think you can, with this kind of messaging, you know, a full 3 years removed from the next presidential election, you think you can shift public opinion like 30 points in the next 3 years? In the next 3 years?
I don't know if it would be politically good or not. It's my fantasy.
Well, that matters a lot. That's the crux of the entire conversation. Is it politically smart to do that? It might be morally correct if you hold the position that liberals have a moral obligation to preserve liberal democracy, protect the republic from the whims of a tyrant like Trump. Is it politically smart is a very different question. And that's the question that you have to ask first before you even get to, is it morally smart? Because if you rule out that it's not politically smart before you address the other question, you don't even need to address the other question with the same kind of urgency or immediacy.
I think that part of the government shutdown ending should be tied to forcing Donald Trump to completely divest from his 2 crypto scams. I feel like that's an easy ask. It's crazy that I even say I don't know if that's...
I mean, I think this is wildly based, for the record. I've never heard anybody propose this. But yeah. I fully fuck with that one.
It's possible politically, but like, you should
I mean, why do you think so many candidates all over the country are running on this new kind of populist rhetoric? You know, Tallarico and Graham Plattner and Mamdani and why and so many Republicans? Like, why do you think you can see so many Republicans that are running on this framing of, you know, top-down corruption? Like, we got to save the country from the corrupt influence of the elite. You know, you're seeing that from both right-wingers and left-wingers. It's like very fashionable right now. And what better way to, like, government corruption? That's something that a lot of Americans care very much about and they feel very strongly about. What better way to highlight that than, you know, ask for Donald Trump to divest himself from his fucking crypto shitcoin? I think that's a great idea.
Force Trump to go up and defend, and every single liberal media network and everything, every time a Republican comes on, should be like, can you explain, why do you think the President of the United States and his family should be allowed to accept anonymous donations that are untraceable from anybody else around the world? Yeah. And make them defend that point. Yeah. And when they go, well, what about Hunter Biden? Then kick them.
Okay, all right. I think I prepared a better response. Okay, get ready. Okay, you guys are gonna love this. Okay, you guys are gonna love this. The main problem is that Hutch is essentially trying to rely on the filibuster as a point, is what you said. Just thought it should be written. Okay, yeah, okay. All right. So this is a new one. Ready? Okay. I'm a schizo poster. Okay, Okay, schizo posting, okay. All right, this is incredibly gay, okay? Okay? Big Bunch is back? What? Who cares? The Senate Republicans want to save it for the future. We don't even disagree on potentially getting rid of the filibuster to get stuff done when the Democrats have power. And I also agree we shouldn't advocate for it now because it benefits us, all right? However, the issue is that you're using this as a piece of evidence to show that Republicans aren't retaliating against the Democrats when Democratic politicians before have talked about abolishing the filibuster. The reason why this is an invalid point is because there are still very useful things Republicans can use the filibuster for in the future, right? Against the Democrats. This goes back to court packing, which is the main issue, right? Not the filibuster, court packing. This goes back to court packing. The reason why they aren't court packing, according to Pondering Politics, is because they already have the super upper hand on the Supreme Court. But nothing stops the Republicans from packing the court if it came to that. Just simply because they have always done new things before, regardless of whether or not the Democrats do it first. This is why court packing needs to be pushed now. You're kind of conceding the debate with the second line. This one? Why? Why? This one? Or this one? No, no, I'm not. No, that can't be. Like I can't be conceding with this second line just mainly because the entire point is that I'm trying to point out that it's not an apt analogy. Does that make sense? I'm trying to show that it's not the correct analogy to make. That's not a concession. This is not a concession. You're saying he's right about Josiah? No, that's wrong. No. This is Josiah's position. I'm trying to argue from Josiah's position. This is Josiah's position. Sorry. Sorry. It's slightly different from Josiah's position, okay? I'm not conceding anything. I'm trying to argue that the analogy that he is using, the filibuster, is not a good analogy. It's just not a good analogy. I'm saying that the Democratic politicians have pushed for the filibuster being abolished before, and the Republicans have not retaliated. The reason for that is because there's actually a very valid reason why the Senate Republicans still want the filibusters to still be around. That's the entire point. This is why it's not comparable to the Supreme Court. These two are not good comparisons, just simply because when you're packing the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court is already majority Republican. They don't need to change it anymore, right? They can already do whatever they want with the Supreme Court, right? And they have. Wait.
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
No, thank you so much for the $20. It's a hippo with a clamping arm. Fucking hell. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Lynn. I hate this fucking politics. See, this is why politics shit is always gay. This politics shit is gay constantly. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Also, not only that, this is why court packing needs to be pushed now, not later. Amassing enough political capital as one of the issues talked about is a good idea. Nobody is arguing it should be top 5 issues. Prioritize the push court packing now, but then later on you mentioned it should be mentioned and talked about, and it isn't in the top 5. Yeah, it should be talked about now, but not in the top 5 issues. I don't think that's mutually exclusive, right? Wait, that's not mutually exclusive, is it? You can still talk. You can still talk about it. You're just not presenting it as a top 5. Yeah, okay, fine. Subtly. Okay, subtly. Subtly. All right, how about this? Subtly. Okay, does that help? You say now, not later, as in prioritize that. Yes, but I mean talking about it now, just talking about it in any way, just literally having the discussion. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Asking. Foodshops, you don't have the cards. Bro, because I took your cards. Okay, I took your virginity card. Okay, sorry, I don't mean it like that. I'm asking enough political capitals. Nobody should be tough edge. Okay, you know what? I'll fine. I'll delete this portion. You peer pressured me, and you suck. Okay, that's what. All right, you suck. Because you peer pressured me. Okay, now it's just this part, okay? So then he can't nitpick, okay? Nobody is arguing it should be top 5 issues, but rather it should be just mentioned and talked about. Is this better? Are you satisfied now, Mr. Editor? Okay, is that... They're a Hutch fan. Okay, that's the problem, is that you're a Hutch fan. They're trying to sabotage you. Okay, you're right. Okay. No, I need to keep that in mind. Okay, I need to keep that in mind. These people are Hutch fans. They don't want what's good for me, okay? They want me to suffer, and they want my career to fail. Okay. Alright, okay. With that kept in mind, I'm going to press send. Okay, hopefully I won't regret this. Okay, good luck. Okay. Okay. Alright, okay, I need to end stream, okay? Jesus. What do you mean, rip? Shut the fuck up. You guys are gaslighting me. I'm analyzing as a text. I already sent it. It's too late. I do not agree with Hutch. But you do! You said you loved Hutch! Careful, Hutch might join the stream. He's welcome to. Okay, alright, let me see. Who do I rate? Last stream ever. It is the last stream ever. Let's go shutting down tomorrow? Maybe. Jesus. I catch the last 5 minutes. It's okay, Len. You can just go to Kick to watch the VOD. Who do I rate? Anyone playing RuneScape right now? I'm hungry. Did you talk about Senate passing a resolution to end the tariffs? No. I didn't even know about that. You're the first one who told me about that. I think I've heard of something like that, but I didn't know that it passed. Pray Jesus Christ? No. Okay, you see, maybe I should just like post first and ask questions later, because otherwise it wouldn't be my own opinion. Because otherwise it would be like my opinion filtered through the lenses of my viewers. What if it's like that? What if you guys are trying to vicariously live through me by pretending that you guys are actually the ones debating Hutch, when it's actually me that's debating Hutch on Twitter? Are you sure you're not parasocial? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You guys are vicariously living through me by nitpicking my tweets. Alright? You have to have a life for us to be one to live you through in the first place. For us to want to live through in the first place? You might be surprised, actually. You might be surprised. I support you no matter what you do wrong. Oh, okay. I am Foodshops. Doesn't mean I agree. Whoa. But we can all acknowledge I'm a more fun person, okay? I'm a more entertaining streamer than all of these Twitch poll fucks. Okay, sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to be that aggressive. Okay, alright, is there any last words? Any last memes before I close out the stream? Because I gotta edit the slop. I got it. Oh my god, guys, wait, don't forget, subscribe. Okay, to Snack Markets, okay? YouTube.com /channel/Snack Markets or something like that, okay? Go to my, it should be found in my home page of the channel. Drop link.